the distant and bloody First World War in Europe, called the Great War prior to World War II, reached the small community of Benbrook in 1917.
When World War I started, the Americans weren't part of it, but the British were involved, and so the Royal Canadian Flying Corps was looking for places to train pilots. And so they started looking in the southern part of the United States for flying areas because of the bad winters in Canada.
General John J. Blackjack Pershing and the Army Air Corps established a field slightly south of the village of Benbrook for Canada's first pilots. It was later named Carruthers Field for Cadet W.K. Carruthers, who was killed during training in June 1917.
They picked the area in South Benbrook, basically south of what the current Mercedes Street is, because of its flat topography, and you can go out today and see how flat and wide open it was. Most of the cantonment area, the area where the barracks and buildings were, basically ran along what is now Cosby North Street and parallel to Mercedes Street.
Since the U.S. did not have a pilot training program established at this point, the recruits were trained by English and Canadian flyers. Because of the strong demand for pilots, the training was rudimentary and dangerous, and crashes were frequent. In fact, the airfield was the site of most of the crashes of all the training zones during the war. When the U.S. entered the war in 1917, the base was renamed Benbrook Field and began to train American pilots as well. Children who attended school in Benbrook during the days of the flying field would wave at the flyers as they flew over the schoolyard.
It was breathtaking to watch those two-winged crafts fly over the pasture, shooting at rabbits and sometimes a wolf. They're supposed to aim at regular targets, but they must have had more fun shooting at rabbits. One day we were driving on a ranch road through the north pasture, which is about 3 miles south of Benbrook, when a young Canadian landed his plane in front of our Mormon touring car. He borrowed some pliers, went over and fixed his plane, returned the pliers with thanks, and took off back towards Benbrook while we watched wide-eyed as if we'd seen a visitor from Mars.